You're looking for a set of arrows, but you're torn. You want something tougher than wood, but you love the look of wood. Well, with the Gold Tip Traditional Series, you can have the best of both worlds. Hi there, I'm Gregory Richards, and this is 3D Archery. Arrows are as much about personal preference as they are about performance. You have arrows made of wood. You have arrows made of aluminum. And finally, you have arrows made of carbon. You have target arrows. You have hunting arrows. You have all different spine measurements used by the various manufacturers. You have the spine charts that are mainly made for bows cut to or past center. It is a proverbial maze of information for you to navigate. To top it all off, people swear by each and badmouth the others. So what are you to do if you just want to shoot a few arrows? Well, lucky for you, I found a great family of arrows. In fact, they're my go-to arrows that I use with all different types of bows, and that is what we're going to look at today. Gold Tip, as we know it, was founded in 1989 by Marvin Carlston. He started making broadheads and nocks, and his famous broadhead was called the Gladiator in 1993. He was also the first company to produce a carbon arrow with an internal fit insert in 1996. In 2013, the company was acquired and is now part of Vista Outdoors, which has more than 40 labels under it. And here's a few that you might know. All right, everybody, now that we know the history of it, who owns them and all that neat stuff, let's take a little bit more detailed look at the GT Trad family of arrows. The first arrow is the Gold Tip Traditional. All Gold Tip arrows are sold by the half and the full dozen. For the Traditionals, half dozen is $74.99 and the dozen is $104.99. The straightness is 0.006 and it has a tolerance of plus or minus 2. The inner diameter of the arrow is 0.246. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the spine, the weight, the grains per inch, the total grains, the diameter, and the length. So the first spine is a 340, that's 10.5 grains per inch for a total weight of 336 grains. The diameter is 0.308, that's outer diameter, and the length is 32 inches. Up next is the 400 spine. That is 9.3 grains per inch, 298 total grains. The outside diameter is a 0.302, and the length again is 32 inches. Up next is the 500 spine, and that comes in at 8.6 grains per inch, 275 grains total weight. The outer diameter is 0.300, and again 32 inches diameter. And finally you have the 600 spined arrow, 7.8 grains per inch, 234 grains total, and the outer diameter is a 0.295. And if you notice here, the length is only 30 inches where the others are 32. Up next is the Traditional Classics. Again, half dozen goes for $89.99 and a dozen for $129.99. Straightness is again 0.006, same tolerance of plus or minus 2, has an inner diameter of 0.204. Right? The spine, 340, they come in at 12 grains per inch for a total weight of 384 grains. The diameter of the arrow is a 0.308 and its length is 32 inches. The 400 comes in at 11.3 grains per inch, 362 grains total. Its weight or diameter is 0.302 and the length is 32. The 500 spine, 10.2 grains per inch, 326 total grains, diameter of 0.300, and they are also 32 inches. Then you have the 600, comes in at 9.1 grains per inch for a total of 291. The diameter is a 0.295, and notice this one is a 32 inch as opposed to the traditional, a 30-inch arrow. Up next are the arrows I use, the traditional XTs. The half dozen is $99 and a full dozen is $124.99. Straightness is 0.003. The tolerance, plus or minus 2. Inner diameter is a 0.246. 340 spine comes in at 10.5 grains for a total of 336. The diameter is 0.308 and the length is 32 inches. The 400 spine is 9.3 grains per inch, 297 total. Outer diameter is 0.302 with a length of 32 inches. The 500 spine comes in at 8.6 grains per inch, total weight at 275, and the diameter is a 0.300. The length is 32 inches. Then you have the 600, which comes in at 7.8 grains per inch for a total weight of 234 grains. The diameter is 0.295, and if you look again, the length is not 32, but 30 inches. And up next is the traditional classic XT. Half a dozen is $114.99 and a full dozen is $144.99. The straightness is 0.003 with a tolerance of plus or minus 2. The inner diameter is a 0.204. The 340 spine comes in at 12 grains per inch, 384 grains total weight. The diameter is a 0.286 with a length of 32 inches. The 400 comes in at 11.3 grains, total weight 361, with a diameter of 0.282 and a length of 32 inches. The 500 comes in at 10.2 grains per inch, total weight 326. The diameter is 0.276 with a length of 32 inches. And then finally, we have this 600 spine, comes in at 9.1 grains per inch for a total weight of 291 grains. The diameter is a 0.220 with a length of 32 inches. There's one final addition to the Go-Tip traditional family, and that is the blems, or the blemished arrows. These arrows meet all the standards for straightness, spine, tolerances, length, and that, but what they had was a slight cosmetic flaw. And they make these, they put special markings on them, and they sell them at a greatly reduced price. So if you see the prices, the other one's a little high, just look around or ask your vendor if they sell any blems. All right, everybody, now what we're going to talk about is really pretty much why I choose them. And if you don't really shop for arrows, you don't know why, you got to figure out why you want them, what's important to you. And these are just some of the factors, but these are big ones for me. And the first one is I want the arrow to be consistent. I like to keep all my arrows very close in weight. That way the flights are very similar. If you got a 20-30 grain difference or 5-10, whatever it is, that tells you something. If your arrows aren't all the same weight or really close, that's telling you something about the production of it. So let's go back in the studio and we're going to weigh 6 of them that I just bought, and let's see how consistent they are. Okay, everybody, now we've seen that. The next thing I like is toughness in an arrow. When you're first starting, and even when you've been at it a while, even the top level people, we're all going to miss. and sometimes you miss. You hit a rock, you slam into something, you shoot the iron target, you hit it. And if that arrow breaks every time you hit anything except for foam, it's going to cost you money. So I like a tough arrow. I like having that little confidence knowing, hey, if I don't make a perfect shot, you know, I don't have to sweat it so much. So these, my Go Tip XTs, I had a guy use them and watch this video. He was shooting through a chronometer, hit the tree with a bow that was putting these arrows out at 194 feet per second, and they took it time after time. All right, everybody, and the last thing that I really like in an arrow is its flexibility. Now that covers a lot of different stuff, but I don't want to own a set of arrows for every bow. I don't want to own a set of arrows for 3D, a set of arrows for this. I'm not that serious into it. I take it serious, but you know what? There's that line, you know, and I'm not going to spend all that extra money because arrows aren't cheap, right? I want one arrow that can do it all, and Go Tips can do that. And I'm going to show you that up next here in the outdoor range. I'm going to show you why I really love these arrows. All right, everybody, to try to show you how flexible these arrows are, we're going to do some neat stuff with them. I got 3 of them. Traditional XT 600 spine. I got a 125 grain point, 145 grain point, 200 grain point. I'm going to shoot all 3 at that moose down there using 2 bows. First up, Stealth Hunter. It is a 60-inch bow, 30-inch draw. It has a radiused riser, a radiused shelf, and it is cut past center. And then it's to go on to the opposite end of that spectrum. I have my 1967 Ben Pearson coat, 50-pound bow, 62 inches, flat riser, flat shelf, and I say it's not cut to center, but if it is, it's just barely. So this would be a good test to see how well these arrows adapt to them. And this is the reason why I really love them. I can use them with so many bows. All right, so first up, let's shoot the Stealth Hunter. All right, 125 grain point. A little low. Now, 145 grain point. Right next to it, right? 200 grain point. There you go, all in the group like that, right? Same bow, 30 pounds, right? 125, 145, and 200 grain points. And all the arrows flew nice and smooth. And that's what I love about it. Now we're going to kick it up a notch and try the same thing with a 50-pound bow. This one is cut past center. The next one's not even cut to center. Not bad. See what I mean? Look at that, both, I got 2 10s and an 8, I think, on both of them. That's why I love these arrows. I can go out and just, doesn't matter what bow, I can grab a bow and use them and have the confidence it's gonna work for me. So there you have it. That's another reason why I love it. Now, no, I'm already giving you the hits. Now I'm gonna go over all the hits and misses of the Gold Tip Traditionals. All right, everybody, let's cover the hits of the Gold Tip Traditional family of arrows. These are in no particular order, so just bear with me. The first hits, they're good looking arrows, right? The XTs are very colorful. Multiple colors printed on them, they look great. The XT Classics have the fluted ends, which look really nice too. And finally, they got the wood grain, right? So I don't like black arrows so much. Indoors don't bother me, but outside, you know, I like wood, I just don't like how it performs and how hard it is to tune. And that's why I like these. You know, I like carbons for that reason, but this has the wood grain, so it keeps me close. So good looking is one of the first things. And the second is the variety. The whole family of arrows. Look what you got. You got difference in prices, difference in looks, weights, and other factors. So you can pick and choose. You're not stuck with one arrow. The variety is a big bonus. And the next one is cost, right? They're not the cheapest, but they're not expensive. And they give you really good performance for the money. And that is what I appreciate. The other thing I love about them is they're durable. You know, if you have an arrow that breaks that easy, it's in your head when you have to make a good shot. You're like, oh, I got to make a good shot. If I miss, man, if I miss, I'm going to break an arrow. I know these babies can take it. I've broken plenty, but I've also hit stuff with them and not damaged them. And you've seen Tony hit a tree how far away? At 194 feet per second, multiple times. Flattened my heads, but no damage to my arrows. And the other thing I love, which you see now I also demonstrated for you, was they work with a wide range of bows. I shoot it with my 30 up to 50-pound bows, no changes, just go out there and shoot. And I love that ability. I don't have to buy a new set of arrows for every bow. And the last one is they work really well FOC. You see me shoot a 125 and a 200, and they pretty much keep the same trajectory and the same impact point. I really did not change my aiming. I just aimed the same spot, and they got there. So I love that about these arrows. These things can perform. All right, boys and girls, there's the hits. Up next, let's talk about the misses. All right, everybody, my misses. There's not many. There's just 2. 1, there's no spine for lighter bows. I like to have them up to 800 spine, but they don't have it. 600 is the highest spine they have. You know what? Hey, c'est la vie, right? And the other one is my 600s don't come in a 32-inch length, which would really help for those of us that shoot gap, split vision, string walking, things like that. It really decreases it. Even instinctive, I'm telling you, a longer arrow will help you. And that is it. That's my whole 2 misses, is no spine for lighter bows, and the 32-inch isn't available in the entire family. All right, everybody, there's a lot of information there. Hopefully it'll help you make an informed decision. You know, it's a carbon arrow that is durable, straight, flexible, good looking, and reasonable in price. That's how we here at 3D Archery would describe the traditional family of arrows offered by Gold Tip. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time with an all-new episode, 3D Archery.